Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Izuku, he discovered cursed energy. He discovered curses and sorcerers all existing. And he even went to the room his ancestor was buried in. And Deku, he talked to Sukuna. Sukuna tried to get Deku to agree to a binding vow, and speak his name. However, Deku, he was alarmed by a lot of things, and he tried to yell about how his ancestor was not really here in this room. He was not alive. The voice and things he's been seeing on temple grounds aren't real. But that gets harder and harder to believe. Deku also met a cursed spirit, one that looked human, and was very desperate for his attention. Now, with that being said, Izuku, he is still trying to understand these abilities, understand what cursed spirits might be, and gain a handle on this power his ancestors said that he had. Though it does pose many questions. He has superpowers. He actually has power. And it could be potentially greater than any quirk he knows of. As far as he knows, he's the only other member of his family to see, hear, and speak to Sukuna, the dead man himself, go into that room and not come out crazed. But Izuku, he also had a lot in his mind. He's an outlier in not only the real world, but with his family. He's not close to many people. He's not really close to all of them. But he does still love them. He does still spend time with his mother and father. He shares a room with his little brother, and he cares for his little sister when his parents aren't home. He even looks after his younger cousins. And while he can't really hang out with his older cousins, because they're closer to his older brother's age, he does still spend time with them. It's simple. They always eat at the dinner table together and spend time together. They celebrate things together. All of them live at the temple. His aunts, uncles, you name it. Though, there's a lot going through his mind. He wants to, well, share it, but if he does, everyone in his family will think he's crazy. But he's even thought about it before. They are treated like royalty. The government bends the knee to them. People worship their family, worship Sukuna. They're allowed to live on this land for free. People care and look after them. His dad doesn't even need a job. They just care for and clean the temple. I mean, yes, he does have one, but he only has one because it allows him to go outside. I mean, seriously, what the hell? They're royalty. They're treated like it, so they should act like it, right? It just doesn't make sense. People look at them and all they see is his ancestor. They want a monster, give them the monster. I mean, use the power he feels like he has. Let his name, his family name, be seen again. Just something. He hates the place he's in now. People see him as an outcast. That's all he'll ever be. They need to properly see him. And Izuku, he's been able to rationalize this thought. If they have actual power, the descendant of a god, they should use it. Though Sukuna was more like a demon. He was certainly a man you would not want to fuck with. And that, it does go through his mind. Currently, him sitting there and thinking about it a lot. It's been some time. Classes have started up again, and he's in a new school. Lovely. Okay, so the teachers are going to pull the same shit they do every year. It's going to happen. He's going to have to go up there and talk about it. Yay. Alright then, class. Us getting to the teacher. it is apparent that we have somebody quite special in the classroom. Now, Izuku, if you could please come up here. I'm going to stand. And some people, they do just stare at him. And a girl with dark hair does stare at Deku a little closely, since they're kind of intrigued. They're curious. They've heard his name before. Where have they heard it, though? And that's where Deku, he does to walk up. Him going to turn as the teacher. They do to hold up a piece of chalk. Him writing Izuku Railman on the board. And the moment everybody does see that last name get written, some of them do stare on, since they've heard about him. But actually seeing him is a lot different. And Izuku, he does look at some of their faces. He knows it. Some of them were actually talking to him. Others were staring at him, and even a girl looked at him. She was kind of cute. Her hair was... What was that color close to? It's not a neon blue, but it's a dark sort of blue. He doesn't know what it is. It's not just blue. But she looked nice. Pretty eyes and a nice smile. And Deku, he does look around the room. Right now, some people going to avoid eye contact, as the teacher would go to express. There's a lot everyone should know. Izuku Midoriya, or Izuku Railman here is quirkless, and his family, they are the descendants of Sukuna. All of them are aware as to who this man must be, correct? A man who existed over 200 years ago, and a man who has died. However, they would like to point this all out. Izuku and his family have done nothing wrong. They simply exist and were a part of his bloodline. So if people could, please don't treat him differently. In fact, he's met Izuku's parents before, and they are quite nice people. And Deku, he has a turn. Right now the teacher continuing to talk, and a bit more surprised, as Deku walks over to his desk and sits right back down, trying to look at the window. And this, it does somewhat surprise the teacher, since Izuku didn't let him finish, though he can understand. He's talked about it before, and his parents are a bit concerned. Though he does try to keep his happy face, trying to continue on. Though somebody, they do stare at Deku, since it's actually him. This is actually going to be possible. She'll get to talk to him. And that is where Deku, he's currently at. Right now, him going to get up after the bells go to ring for lunch, and head out. Currently, him walking down the hallway of the high school, as he turns his head. Right now, something crawling along the wall, as it does make its way upward past his window. And Deku, he's going to continue walking, trying to ignore it. That one guy was annoying, but he's gone. He was there trying to convince him for a bit of time. But then again, where did he go? He's been gone for a few weeks. He can't say it's really annoying, but he kind of got used to him. He didn't talk, but I mean, there's also his ancestor. Sukuna's been quiet. No, he's waiting on something. Biding time? He basically disowned him. So he's just giving him the cold shoulder? Great. Even a dead guy doesn't want to talk to him. Isn't that fucking lovely? Izuku heading to the roof. Right now him going to pull out his lunch as he does go to open the bento. Currently, him looking over a few things and going to just sit there. Right now him eating as he has been to listen to some music. And while that's currently happening, we do actually have where someone, they do come to walk out onto the roof. Them a bit confused, since they thought he was here. Hmm, not good. Now, Deku, after lunch, he just does go sit there. Him, still with his headphones in, as he has a few things going through his mind. School going to end for the day, and Deku getting driven home by the chauffeur. And this, it does happen again. Now, when Izuku does head home, it is the usual routine. Though, it is intriguing. Nothing pops up, and nothing happens. And then there actually is where a week does pass. As Deku, he does fall into his usual routine. However, today, that routine is broken. After a week, Izuku, he does walk up the stairs to the hallway. Right now, him going to walk up as he does see the dark haired girl from his class. Hey, hi. What are you doing up here in the hallway? Oh, the door's locked. Yeah, they do that. And walk up the stairs. Going to pull out a key and unlock it. Going to walk outside and get a look around. Getting a breath of fresh air before going to walk over to the wall and sit down. Her going to ask, since he has a key to the school roof. Yeah, I asked for it. Sometimes the janitor likes to come out here, sweep up after storms, a few things, but I come out here to think, eat, and be left alone. Why? You're really asking me that question? Sort of. You're Izuku Ryomen. You're in my class. So you do actually pay attention to people. Whoever said I didn't? Don't know, just expected something a little different. You don't know me. True, but maybe I'd like to know you. Deku turning his head. Huh. You have a crush on me. Maybe. Or maybe I think you just need a friend. Who's paying you? Excuse me? Who's paying you? Someone paid you to prank me, didn't they? I don't appreciate it. Alright? You don't have to be my friend. You don't have to play jokes on me. If you're actually interested in me, say it. But if somebody paid you off, then fuck off. I'm going to turn back. And she does sit there a little bit more alarmed. Though it does make sense. Her right now going to stand there and expressing. Going to walk over and bend down. That she isn't being paid. She's rich. Besides, if she was getting paid, no one could afford it. So she'll reintroduce herself and try this again. You didn't introduce yourself in the first place. Oh, sorry. My name is Momo Yorozu. Nice to meet you. You know me already. So what do you want? Her actually going to sit down and try to actually speak with Deku. And Deku, he does find it to be a little intriguing, though he's also a little confused. Someone actually wants to talk to him. It feels a bit different. And Deku, whenever school does get out that day, he feels a little bit better. But right now, he does go home. And as he has to get out of the car, he's got a lot going through his head. Maybe talk to his brother, see about something, or maybe try and actually figure a few things out. Something feels... Deku looking up, and he's a little confused. since sitting on top of the shrine are... It's that guy again. Why is he here? And why is there another one of them? Deku staring up. And their actions with the curse does going to turn its head. It going to look down and stare. Deku going to walk up the stairs. As right now he does a turn and try and ask Mahito about what's going on. He doesn't appreciate him breaking the vow, though the fact of the matter is he's still alive. So, who exactly is it? And Mahito does get a smile. Right now him going to express. He's not telling. Besides, that's a surprise. I'll have to guess. Now, he does a turn, annoyed and wondering. Since this kid, he's looking their direction because he's walking up the stairs. But it's possibly him. He doesn't understand. He wanted it to be at this exact time. This is probably a joke. Right now Deku walking into the shrine. As he hear the curse express. If he really thought it was going to be funny to play a joke on him like this, it's not. So which one can actually use it? He's assuming it wouldn't be the kid. And Deku, he's annoyed at that. Going to actually turn and look up. I don't appreciate that, you know. Right now, this being where Jogo does get on freeze. Turning his head and bring his hand up. Right now him going to actually leap down as Deku, he's at a turn looking his head down. Since this guy is ugly and tiny. And the man does stand with his hand up. Him taking it to the left and then to the right. Watching Deku's eyes. And they're actually... Are you joking me? Him lowering his hand. He's the one? I'm assuming you're a curse. You know about us. You are a sorcerer. Yeah, I could feel you guys from down the stairs. That just raises more questions about this crap. Listen, I don't know why he decided to bring a friend, but just leave. Or... You know about cursed energy, don't you? Yes, we do. Are you interested to learn about it? I want to know some things. What would you like to know? I am willing to tell you. For your help, of course. What do you mean? We have a few goals in mind. In fact, I'm sure you've met my colleague here. However, me and him have similar interests. We both seek to bring my ancestor back from the dead. Yes, the revival of Sukuna. And even potentially seeing what we can do. We assumed the family was trying to find a way. However, that does not appear to be the case. Mahito has not informed me of that. I'm the only one who can see you two. I know that much. Everyone else in my family, let alone everyone else in the freaking Japan, can't see those weird monsters outside. Cursed spirits. I'm assuming grade... What? D? E? Fourth or third? I don't know. You don't know anything. You know of cursed energy, but... You have no teacher, do you? No. You can be taught stuff? Yes, yes you can. Though, I am curious. Have you spoken to your ancestor? Seen whether or not he is truly dead? First off, I actually have questions before we continue on any of that. You said this power I have, I can learn stuff. What can I learn? You can learn a lot of things. Now, can you answer my question? No, no, no. I. Teach me something. Excuse me. Teach me something. Teach me something I want to know. Something good. How about that? I want to put my family name back on top. Maybe you can help me. I see. You're just like him. A little bit more tame. However, I can see it in you. You have a great darkness, though it is still hiding. But it has broken through. Quite, quite interesting. Though, teaching you will take time. Answer my question, and maybe we can skip a few things. I can show you a lot. In fact, willing to be your teacher. But I do have a question first. Are you willing to revive your ancestor? Why? So he can rule again. Why should he rule and not me? Right now the man gonna stare at him. And they do look at Deku. A little bit more intrigued. Deku has been embracing this new attitude. He definitely does seem a little less than good. But that does still make him curious. Acting and being are two different things. Which one of the boy? Because he can tell. He does have great potential. He wants to learn. He's not afraid. He certainly doesn't know what he's in front of. So there is the question. What can he really teach this boy that he may not already have? Getting a better understanding as to where he is could be good. And Deku, he does understand. Right now him gonna turn and walk in. Going to express. Come on. They've got to figure this all out. And right now, Jogo does go to express. Staring at Deku. He would rather not. Hmm? What are you talking about? The shrine is sacred ground. Ground we cannot enter. Sukuna, he's there. We wish for you to relay a message. Just walk in. No. That ground is so potently full of cursed energy, I fear he may manifest and kill me on the spot. It doesn't matter what they may use to try and seal him. He will get out. One day. He will. That I am sure of. Now, Mahito, why don't you step inside? Show the boy what I'm talking about. I'd rather not. But I'm going to jump down and express. Though, he is willing to at least prove a point. Though, maybe he could go first? No. You always like to joke around. But I know when it does come down to it, you're better than I. So, show the little boy exactly what he's working with. Show him what I'm talking about. No. Why don't you? Old and crushed, you could take a few inches off the top. Your actions and words are not appreciated. Okay, can you two just shut up? Listen, if you can't step inside, I'll go out there. Show me what you know. Show me something. And Deku, he does get a watch on. Right now, one of the curses gonna walk over to a tree, and they do to look at it, bring their hand up, as Deku, he does gonna watch their hand begin to pour with energy, and he does begin to feel it as well. The air feels like it shifted, and it's certainly quite intriguing. Now him watching them gonna bring their hand back and smash into the tree. As Deku, he does watch a massive chunk of it begin to break, and the tree, it does begin to fall over. Right now, it's gonna smash over to the side and gonna lay there. And Deku, he does get a watch on. The curse going to express, going to step back over, that is a simple demonstration. Cursed energy can increase many attributes, physical capabilities, reflexes, and even durability. In fact, Sukuna himself could take on tanks back in the day. They were nothing to him. He could cleave through them like butter. He witnessed it once, saw it before. The men in his prime at work, quite the fearsome monster. And Deku, that does raise a question to him. He saw his ancestor. Show me. Excuse me. Show me how you did that. And I'll talk to Sukuna. The man gonna smile. Talk to Sukuna. He does still live. And that does make him quite curious. And Deku, him and the two curses do to leave. And they do begin to try to teach Deku a bit more about cursed energy. Cursed energy is first about harnessing your emotions. And Izuku, he can already understand that. From a young age, he's taught much about his ancestor. And he's taught to be mature. Let things go. Try not to be violent. Try to avoid violence. Try to always talk things out. But that's going to change. Ever since he learned about these abilities, his actual power, sorcery, if he can harness it, he doesn't need to be the way his parents have raised him. He can be violent, be angry, embrace that nature. Just like what Sukuna said, it feels better not caring for a minute, just letting it go, getting actually angry. Feels a lot better than how things have felt in a long time. And that, it does make Deku feel a little bit lighter. Though actually trying to train with that cursed energy, understanding it better, it's going to take some time. He knows that. Though right now Deku, he does sit there, thinking about a lot. It's been 3 days, and currently Izuku, he does sit on the rooftop and laying there on the ground. Right now, this being where Deku, he's a bit curious. That one girl hasn't poked around again. He probably scared her away. Though, that is good. It does give him some time to think. Properly think things over. Cursed energy is all about harnessing his emotions. Actually focusing on them. And Izuku, he does go to sit up. Him bring up his hand. And thinking about it a lot. Going to look at his hand and going to focus. He can certainly feel the energy. Feel a few things. Though it's also strange. He feels negative energy. Curses are made of it. Everybody possesses it. But harnessing it, that's a whole different story. He feels a piece of cursed energy here. A good amount of it. Though this is a school where everyone's depressed. But I mean, something feels different. There's that one girl. She has a cursed spirit around her throat. It could be her. And Deku, he has to open his eyes. Him staring at his hand and beginning to see energy manifest. It's weird. It's like a transparent blue fire. But it doesn't burn. And Deku, he has to turn his head. Hearing the door go open as he does a stare at somebody. Him going to actually bring his hand down into his jacket. Who are you? Nice to meet you. Momo, if you would. Her gonna step out. And Deku does stare on. Her gonna express that she's glad that he's here. She would expect nothing less. She'd like him to meet her father. And Deku to stare at the man. Him a bit annoyed, though kind of confused. The man going to step forwards and then drop to his knees to bow. And Deku does going to stand up. Going to walk over and asking the man, exactly what is he doing? I'm paying my respects. It is nice to meet you. I'm going to get up, expressing. He is somebody of great importance. He'd like to be on his good side. And he definitely does want to talk to him about something. Excuse me? Your family, the Sukuna clan. I've tried to talk to your father. Talk to somebody. My my family has been in possession of something for some time now, and I was curious about handing it over to your family. What do you mean? It's simple. Your father, from my understanding, he does not want it. Nothing to do with it. But it's an artifact of great importance. It's believed to be from your grandfather, your ancestor, his library. Excuse me? His library. His arcane knowledge, as people refer to it as. You're one of those followers of Sukuna, aren't you? Well, yes, of course. Though, does that disturb you? No, it's just my father told me to be careful around you. And why would that be? Reasons. I'm assuming you're one too. Deku turning his head and staring at Momo. And she does stare back at him, not saying a word. Though it does sort of make a lot of sense. Okay, so a girl did like him, but she's probably a nut job. Well, that checks out. And Deku, he does a turn. Gonna walk over and sit back down. Going to Express, gonna lay down. That, he doesn't really care. What do you mean? I don't care. It probably isn't real. Deku turning his head and staring at the man. As right now Momo, she's to walk over. Her bending down as Deku, he does stare at her. Her gonna actually pull a bag off of her shoulder and pull out the book. And Deku does stare at it. Him a little surprised. It's made of a weird leather. I'm gonna open it up and look at the pages. Deku bringing his hand up and touching it. And it's certainly interesting. And Momo, she can see it. Deku's eyes show curiosity. They show wonder. Though she is concerned about this herself. Her father has allowed her to see that book. Look into it. Literally. Though much of the stuff that it does talk about, she doesn't understand. It talks about spiritual teachings. And that does have her a bit curious. But Deku, he does could actually flip over a page and read some of it. It begins simple and easy, but the more he reads, where did you say this was my ancestors? Yes, yes it is. However, your father was quite adamant about not possessing it. He does not like the book. It is, of course, bound in human skin. And Deku, he's a lot more alarmed hearing that. Him closing the book and looking at the covering, running his hand over it. It's well made. He doesn't know if that's the good thing or the bad thing. Looking at it, you wouldn't have thought. Flesh, human let alone skin, would be interesting. Him going to have it pulled out of his hands. Him looking up at Momo as she's a stand. And currently put the book back in the bag. Right now, Mr. Yaoruzu going to Express. He's aware that Izuku probably will be caught with the book. He doesn't know much about his family or his father, but he's willing to allow him to borrow it, see it. In return, he'd like him to, well, speak to his daughter. Excuse me? Help make sense of some of it. Many people are curious. They want to know exactly what the contents could mean. You, of all people, might be able to understand them. Your family may possess some knowledge, and that's what we're hoping for. Deku's staring at the man, and he's clearly a nut job. Though some of that stuff he did read does make a little bit of sense. It's sort of the basic teachings of cursed energy. Though there's a lot more in there. A lot more than he's being taught. And that it does make him a bit more intrigued. Though learning about cursed energy is going to be interesting. And there actually is when Deku does get to get home. Right now, him laying in bed late at night and trying to focus. Understand more about this power. Understand a lot more. And then he does get to hear a sound. And I'm going to sit up and walk outside. And Izuku, he has his turn looking at something. Right now, it going to sit there and look into the room. And Deku, he does see that door. It's no, no. That's Riku's door. Him going to stare at it. And it does gonna move inside. However, the moment it does get halfway through the door, it does immediately explode. And Deku, he does stare at that. Right now, him going to see a light turn on in the room as Riku, she is going to walk over. Her opening the door and looking around. Hearing that sound scared her. No, okay. Izuku's just awake. He's probably going to the bathroom. Her bring her hand up and going to wave. And Deku stares at that. Going to wave himself. As he has a turn, close the door behind him, and walk down the hallway. Enrika, or Riku, does go to close her door, going back to bed. However, she's going to lay there for a few minutes, trying to think. Now, Deku, he does go to head back to that room. And whenever he does to arrive, he does go stand there. Him going to bring his hand up and push onto... What? It's closed. Why won't it open? It's... Deku bring his hand up and going to try and focus. Going to try and center his mind. Focus on his negative emotions. In this, Deku, he does get to feel it. Right now the door going to move open. And after Deku does get to push it, it does get to move forwards. Him going to step inside. And that is quite intriguing. Him going to turn and push the door closed. Looking around and seeing the seals. They're all over the room. The walls, the floor, the ceiling. This place is kind of dark. Though, it does have him concerned. This room is closed for a reason. But cursed energy on the door. That's kind of interesting. Then again, that thing felt shut. No, no. He didn't open the door. Sukuna. We're not Deku going to hear his voice, along with his laughter. So, what do we have here? The little cub walks into the lion's den. I'm curious about something. Of course you are. You have been interesting to observe. You're getting a little stronger. Though, I do have to say, I'm glad to see a lot of things have happened in these last couple months, Izuku. So why do you come back to me? Failed at something? Maybe? Don't know how to kill a curse. It's simple. Even a human with cursed energy could. In fact, even a little boy with a bat can kill the simplest one. He just had to see it. That's not what I. That's not what I'm here for. I want to know something. Oh? What what can you teach me about cursed energy? I'm willing to learn. Ah, you say that. But are you really? There is a lot to becoming a powerful sorcerer like me. In fact, I can see potential in you, but don't think that that means anything. You still have a long way to go. A very, very long way. Before you reach my level. Though, if you do want to talk, actually properly get something from me, we can make a deal. How about that? There's a seal on my grave. Remove it. Then, and only then, can we talk face to face. Do you agree to this? Deku looking around, not saying a word. And it certainly is something. Right now, Deku walking around, but we're gonna find it. Right now, it's being a massive seal taped on the side of the actual opening. And Deku, he does it to bring his hand up. Him going to begin to try and pull, but the seal is stuck on. And that's a bit annoying. And Deku, he does have an idea. Though, he has to tell his ancestor. He'll be right back. Keep that door open. He'll remove it. And Sukuna, he does a smile, knowing that he won't be trapped in just this little box anymore. And that does, well, warm his long dead heart. And Deku, he does it a return. He does have a lighter. Currently, him going to light up the actual inscription along with the paper. And this, it does begin to burn. As Sukuna, he does go to appear, manifesting into reality. And Deku, he does see it. But he just feels raw energy. That's intriguing. And Sukuna, he does stand up. Him bring his hands up and going to pop his neck. Right now, him going to use all four of his arms to do so. But we're going to bring his hands up and beginning to just pop everything. Being sealed away and not able to move out of that box for 200 years, that will give you some real fucking serious stiffness. And right now, this is the best he's felt in centuries. And Sukuna does begin to express, going to turn and stare at his descendant. That he does want to ask him if he does understand what this does mean. You're not free, are you? No. Every single inscription around this room, it does still hold me. Even if removed, it will still be annoying to deal with. I will walk temple grounds because there's just so much energy here. I will be stuck here, however. You are not. You live and you're free. That's all you were given. Now, I'm gonna lean down and stare at Deku. Deku's staying there. Him trying not to show his fear. Since the King of Japan, the King of Curses, stands before him. And that does make Deku a lot more intrigued. And Sukuna does get to ask the question, why exactly did he come back? And Deku would go to tell him that he wants power. He wants he wants to know what power feels like. He knows what cursed energy can do, provide him, and he wants it. He's willing to do things for it. Are you now? Yes, people forget who we are. People don't realize they should still respect us, not worship. It's not about worship. It's about proving a point, being the strongest and knowing you're the strongest. I have had a silver spoon in my mouth since the day I was born into this family. As your descendant, it's my right to rule Japan. You were the former king. I'm still the ruler of Japan, boy. And you're dead. Sukuna a lot more impressed, surprised, that he's actually talking back to him. And this does give the man a smile. If he could act, he would. But this might be more interesting. And Sukuna, he does stir on. Deku talking about it. They are treated like gods because of what he did. People fear them. People, they are afraid of them. The only people who will ever approach him are nut jobs and crazies. And that pisses him the hell off. He's tired of the rules. He's tired of everything. He's tired of acting like every single thing he just goes through every day is fine. It's not. It really isn't. He wants freedom. He wants power. Everybody else has some, but not him. And that is where he draws the line. He wants to understand him, know more about it, take his rightful place. In Sukuna, he stares at the boy a lot more happy. There it finally is, the first of his line to embrace that darkness. And it looks oh so good on him. And that is where Sukuna, he would tell Izuku. They will enter into a contract, something quite simple. It will make him stronger. And this vow, it is certainly one he does not want to break. What do you mean? It's easy, boy. I want to talk to you about something. There will be rules. There will be things you have to do. Though, you will do it if you want some of my power. Culminate more of your own. Do as I say, and things will be simple. I don't believe that for a fucking second. Sukuna gonna turn, staring at Deku. You're willing to kill anyone. You were willing to do it. People estimated how many you killed, and it was over 20 million in your time. That says a lot about you. You were a monster on Earth. Governments challenged you, but they didn't even think they could beat you. Let alone the numbers it would cause. Worse than anything you could do. Do not compare them to me. They are man. I am not. You're not. You're a cursed spirit. I knew you were more than that. I knew you were more than just a person. Teach me. Help me. And Sukuna, he does stare on. The boy's adamant about power. Getting some for his own, having some of his own. He can see it. And it does mean quite a bit. Him going to express. Alright then. He will make him an agreement. They will enter into a contract. Both parties must agree. And it will be the law of their word. The word must mean something, shouldn't it? What do you mean? A binding vow. It's simple. Follow the rules, and you will be rewarded. Though you will have to put your energy to it. What is the saying? Hmm. I've heard your father say it before. Your your brother. No, your father's brother and him, along with the others. They've all said it. Put your money where your mouth is. And Deku, he does stare on. He's talking about his parents and the time they played poker. And Deku, he does listen. Sukuna explaining it. Both parties must agree. Both parties must accept. And whoever has something to do must fulfill their part of it. In fact, breaking this vow is not something that he should do. He should know it could kill him. Or it could do something far, far worse than death. Even he wouldn't break a vow. And I could just stare on. As Sukuna's entire demeanor is dead serious. It's kind of a little jarring to Deku. The man gonna continue on, expressing, bringing up his hand as his cursed energy does get a pour into it, telling Izuku what he wants him to do is kill 10, no, 15 curses. And afterwards, come back through that door. Not before, after. He only kills 15. Do they have a deal? And Deku does stare down, him bringing his hand up and staring at it, before shaking the clawed hand of his ancestor. And Sukuna, he does express, very good, though do understand, boy. He is serious. Break this vow, bad things happen. Now, be off with him. He does have to relax, readjust to being this way again. Being stuck inside has been quite annoying, though he still cannot leave this room. And Deku, he does a turn, him walking away. And Sukuna, he does a sit down on his tomb, him gonna turn to the sarcophagus and staring on. Now, Izuku, he does have a lot going through his mind. Him heading back to bed and going to get ready. As the next day, a few things do start to happen. Deku, he's got to kill 15 curses. Understand what to do there, and figure it all out. Okay, so, well, the one at the shrine last night exploded. That Mahito guy, he's a curse, but he doesn't think he'll sacrifice his life, so that's a problem. Shogo is out because he's a teacher, but if he brings it up to them, they'll help him find them. He saw one of the school, one of the girl. He's got to look around then. If he goes out, this will be good. It does mean quite a lot. Though, he does want to test something. Cursed energy it will strengthen him physically. So, to be like Sukuna, he must be a physical threat as well. Powerful. Actually physically trained. He does have a small routine, but increasing it is a good idea. Make an excuse or... No. He just wants to better his health. Of course. He just wants to better himself. And that does make Deku smile. And the person, right now in the car, they stare at Deku. Since he's in a very good mood today. And it does make them happy. And right now, Deku, he does head into school. And some people, they do see him. And right now, Momo, she has a stare on, watching as he does have a pleasant attitude about himself today. And it does catch a lot of people's attention, especially the teacher, since a smile really doesn't seem to fit that boy's face too well. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And I am probably going to be recording longer parts so that I don't have probably, I don't know how many parts to where I screwed it up to in my head. But, anyways, this is actually getting very, very fun. Have a good night.